Yes, guys, Suki here for another episode Beyond With. And today, look, last week we had Samson Dowd, Mr. Olympia. This is one lad I've been meaning to get for quite a while. And look, perfect timing because the Gasmark Classic just happened. The weekend just gone. It's, of course, the Barnsley Pitbull himself, Rob Taylor. Rob, you all good, mate?
Appreciate you, my bro. Thank you for having me on. I'm all good, pal. You all good?
Yeah, mate, all good, all good. Look, I've been meaning to get these one-to-one interviews up and running. Yeah, we just got Sam Stouder the other day, got Sassarati later today, got Derek Lunsford next week, Adi Bilal, and I wanted to speak to yourself as well, mate, because I mean, look, you're probably one of the most consistent messenger of inspiration and motivation when it comes to onto Instagram story every single day, your standards, your routine. I know how much it impacts people, of course, yourself and the Gasmark brand. But look, mate, let me get straight into it. Weekend just gone.
Yep.
Gasmark Classic, the
Yep.
first edition, 2025. I want to ask this question, mate. A lot of brands, when I
Yep.
see they want to give back to the bodybuilding community, that's what you always said about this about the show. It's about giving back to the
Yep.
community. What they choose to do is sponsor a show. We've
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
USN do it back in the day with NABA. We've got a
Yeah.
lot of brands with NPC shows in the UK, even with
Yeah.
PCA. You went a different angle. You went to say, you know what, I'm gonna create my own show. What was the mind process of that?
Right, bro. So what it is with me, I've got like a legal case going off, and I can't really go into it too much. So it's kind of put my career with brakes. So I still live and breathe like a pro bodybuilder, mate. You know, I love the game. I do the same thing every day. I'm very involved in the industry, mate. I've got obviously the company, Gasmark 10. I've got my gym, and obviously I coach a lot of athletes. So I've tried all sorts, mate. I've tried doing like IROX, doing every, just trying to challenge my mind. And, I still look like a bodybuilder. So about 18 weeks ago, I linked up with an old pal. And the first thing that come out of his mouth was, I want to put a bodybuilding show on. I want to give back. But I can't have it affiliated with any other federations just in case I take my pro card away. So that's a hard bit for me, because that's why I called it the Gasmark 10 Classic, mate. Just 1 minute, mate. Dogs,
Probably go
1 minute,
for it.
my bro. 1 minute.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't seen the Gasmark Classic, I would recommend go on the Instagram page, if you have Rob Taylor's page, but also the Gasmark Classic Instagram. Check it out because they obviously had a lot. I mean, look, independent shows is where it's at my heart. So do check out Instagram, the Gasmark Classic.
Sorry
Yeah,
about that, my man. Dog's going nuts.
still going.
Postman's here. Postman's here.
Yeah, you were saying, mate.
Right.
That
So obviously, I have to be very careful because I still love bodybuilding, mate. I still love the game bodybuilding. So I still maybe compete as a pro. If I would have put the Rob Taylor Classic, now my pro card would have been gone. That's why I threw Gasmark 10 Classic.
yeah.
Um, like I said, I'm very involved in the industry, but my message was clear from the off. When I did this show, it was about other brands. It was about giving back to bodybuilding, making bodybuilding great again. And I think I proved that by I didn't have my Gasmark 10 stall there. I didn't have none of my supplements there. We made Strength Asylum the main sponsor, so their poster was on the back on all the pictures. I invited other supplement companies down, and I like backed up my words, mate. Exactly what I meant was we're giving back to bodybuilding, give all people a platform by not pumping my own brand and just giving people a stage to perform the old school bodybuilding way. You see, when I come up through bodybuilding, mate, back in the day doing like the UKBFF and things, you used to have all your mates there, your families there. It was a crack. Everybody knew each other. And I wanted to bring that camaraderie back to bodybuilding, mate. And that's what we created.
Yeah, because I was thinking back, I don't know if it was 2022 or 2023, maybe a
Yeah.
little bit later. Um, I remember you did, I don't know if you did a guest post or you competed at a independent show down south before you may have done another show. And the reason
Yeah.
why I'm bringing that up is
Yeah.
because
Liam Smith show.
that's the one.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
is a lack of independent shows, which is a throwback to the old
It
school
is.
bodybuilding where you don't need to follow other guidelines. The guidelines you follow are the ones you set up for yourself. And
100%. Yeah.
that's what came out when I looked at the Gasbar Classic was
Yeah.
such a throwback to that
Yeah.
independent era.
Yeah. It was very similar to that, mate. And I've got a lot of friends in the industry, mate. You know, like I'm friends with Ryan at PCA. I've come up through the ranks with Ryan when he had the original Saxon gym. I'm friends with the guys at, well, Two Bros and IFBB. I'm still IFBB Pro bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So for me, it was not about like standing on anybody's toes, comparing myself to anybody else, my brand to anybody else. It was just giving people a platform. And like, if you wanted to put a crazy track on and you wanted to do a backflip on stage, well, that's what happened at my show because that's bodybuilding. You know, as long as you do your mantras correct in that free posing, guest posing, it's you can do what you want. All the guest posers, everybody were there. The feedback we got were crazy, mate. It was just like we just really enjoyed the day. You know, that's the main thing for me.
How many competitors you guys have in the end?
We ended up with about 100 competitors,
That's good.
and there were over 400 in the crowd, mate.
That's
And we,
quality.
and we turned it around in 18 weeks. It wasn't like a year's thing. It was like a quick 18-week thing.
Is this going to be an annual event then?
I believe so, mate. Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe so. It's a
So
staple of the calendar, mate.
there were plenty. I mean, look, I wasn't there, but from looking at the outskirts, there was plenty of positives that I was hearing from the competitors and
Yeah,
the audience. But
yeah.
what I want to ask is, what was probably the biggest lesson you learned either on the day or leading up to the show that makes you think, you know what, I could take the show to another level come 2026?
I think we got the venue nailed. The venue were bad boy. We got the brands who come involved that were unreal as well. The biggest lesson I'd say is I wasn't happy with the lighting, mate.
Okay.
Right. So I've no bad feedback about the stage pictures or anything, but I always say how it is, mate. You know, like I'll always speak off the cuff. And for me, the lighting, mate, wanted to be darker. I wanted to bring like, do you know when Ford did his show, the Detroit Pro?
Of course, yeah, yeah.
That is the lighting I wanted to create. So next time, mate, a bit lighting, but everything else, mate. I mean, there's always areas you can brush up on. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but I think all in all, mate, we're just a sick show, mate.
I know, mate. I know light is a really big thing, especially when I look at the NPC IFBB shows over in America where they kind of really brought Gilco
Yeah,
production on board, and now
yeah,
everything kind of looks the same. But you know what? If that is the only thing that you're looking to prove, then
yeah,
clearly you're on for a good thing. So no doubt the show is going to get bigger and bigger. Look, I I want to just jump on your
yeah,
past first, mate, because I want to lead on to the present day.
yeah.
I've always wondered, mate, what was your first introduction into bodybuilding?
Right. I had a bit of a rocky come up, mate, let's just say. I didn't compete till 27.
I know you did, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I had a bit of a sticky past and stuff. I didn't compete till 27. I only decided to do one show. I told my wife I'm going to do one show, my mum one show. And then obviously I won the beginners at UKBFF lead show. And then it got addictive, mate. I fell in love with the process, the discipline, everything about it. And that was my introduction, 2014, mate, UKBFF Northeast, the lead show.
Is that the year where you won the British title as well?
I did, mate. I win the British straight afterwards, yeah. Not when we were at Nottingham.
Because like ah, these days I see that there's a lot of people that want to have that success very quickly. And I was looking through the dates of your progression. 2014, you
Yeah,
won the British at UKBFF.
that's right, bro. Yeah,
2019,
yeah,
5 years later, you turned pro.
yeah, that's right.
2022, you
Yeah,
won your first pro show, the Muscle
yeah,
Contest Island.
yeah, that's
Like
right. Yeah,
that is a span of quite a lot of years
yeah,
from the amateur going on to actually winning the pro show. I
yeah.
guess my question to yourself here is, what advice would you give then to people who actually want to try and get that quick success because they see, last year 42 IFBB Pro cards were awarded in the UK.
Yeah,
At the moment, we have 12 at the Olympia for representing UK in 2025.
yeah,
So
yeah,
everyone sees the lights like, oh God, you know what? I want to be there.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
you are proof of the pudding that
yeah.
it takes time.
It does take time, mate. And obviously, I didn't compete until 27, but I was putting in work from leaving school, mate. I started training as soon as I left school. I was like a doorman for about 7, 8 years. So I've always been around that bodybuilding environment. So all I'll say to anybody starting out is be patient and then strike when you're ready. So a lot of people want to turn pro, but then when they go into the pro league, they're lost. It's like the career starts again. For me, I'd say take your time, do as many shows you can, get the experience, and then once you're ready, strike. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, mate. You actually just touched on a point I was going to bring back to when you mentioned about that. You know what? You fell in love with bodybuilding. You know, you start your training when
Yeah.
you came out of school, even as a doorman. What what was the? Is there any piece of advice you remember back then that you know what you still resonate with to this day in your day-to-day life?
Um, any advice? I'd say, mate.
That was given to you that you know what that's really stuck with me.
Um, just work rate, mate. Like I've always been, it's been bred into me work rate. Like I come from nothing, mate. I come from nothing. I'm not gonna come in here with violin and tell my story or whatever. But I come from nothing, and I know if I want it, I've got to go get it. And that's like with anything in life. And I think if you embed that work rate in yourself, especially into bodybuilding, you'll not go far wrong, mate. A lot of people are looking for the shortcuts, the easy road, the easiest option. But I think the lessons along the way with that work rate it'll just make you into a credible bodybuilder. So, like, for instance, I've done preps where I've done 2 3 hours cardio a day, but I've also done preps where I've done 40 minutes a day. But I think if you learn to do the hard stuff, when the easy stuff comes, you can also challenge that energy into other aspects like your posing or more into your training, etc. So I think just the discipline and the work rate for me is what you need to learn early on.
That this kind of links to the next bit because you mentioned about that you brought it up in your Instagram stories on a regular basis. You know what? That you've come from nothing, and this is
Yeah,
what you've built
yeah,
now
yeah.
isn't you wouldn't even know that for where you started.
No,
But something that's important to you, and something you always bring up on your stories, on your messaging, is standards. You hold
yeah,
yourself to a certain standard, and you live by standards.
100% agree, mate.
What
Set your own standards.
so this is what I want to ask you: how important is it to actually kind of create a foundation of standards to live by because you're proof
Yeah,
of if you set a foundation of standards that you live by, then
yeah,
you can really eclipse the environment that maybe you're brought up in and
yeah,
create something special for you and your family.
yeah. I think what it is, mate, is I come up for an era of bodybuilding where every time you showed up on stage, your reputation was on the line. It was you against everybody else. I believe that now we're in an era where there's all these qualifiers. You've got to do a qualifier to do like a regional show, and people are just turning up 6 7 week out condition just to get the name out there so they can do the finals. When you need to believe that you are your brand, your reputation is all you got. So every time you're in a sport, you're going to get critiqued. So if you turn up, mate, and you're off, expect, especially in this day and age, to get critiqued for it. So I think if you set your own standards and turn up every show ready, then if you get beat by a better man, then shake his hand. But for me, I'll only turn up one way, and that's ready, pitbull peeled. I'll not do it any other way. I'd rather not compete. If I want ready a week out, mate, and I know I won't going to bring the condition, rather not do the show because it's my reputation on the line.
That way, I mean, you touched on that quite a lot in regards to reputation
Yeah,
for yourself. So you mentioned about like you got a standard where pitbull condition. That's one thing we all expect when we see
yeah,
Rob Taylor step on stage.
yeah.
But what are the other standards in life that you hold yourself to? Because you're not just being successful on the stage,
No,
you be successful off the stage. When I say off the stage, I'm talking about your gym. I'm talking about your
yeah,
family, your beautiful
yeah,
family that you have.
yeah.
Your Gasmark. You've created a show which was the talk of UK bodybuilding last weekend.
Yeah, appreciate it.
What are the standards that you kind of hold yourself to when it comes to life?
I think what it is, mate, is you know my gym one of the first on the blocks. Like these like old school bodybuilding gyms. I set my gym up in like 2012 or 2013, and there weren't many bodybuilding gyms around. Now, my kind of gym gets a certain kind of clientele. Well, it did do back in the day. Well, like the estate boys, council boys, whatever. And you become a role model real quick. Even though you're young, you become a role model. And I think, like obviously with my family, with my children, I'm the role model. I guide the path for my kids. And I think if you set your own standards and you become that role model in any path of your life, you'll not go far wrong, mate.
Yeah.
So
Listen,
like that resonates with like all parts of my brands, like with Gasmark 10 or whatever. I've got a saying for Gasmark 10, believe in the man, believe in the brand. Now, what kind of a man would I be, or what kind of brand would it be if I didn't live that kind of life where I hold myself accountable? where reputation is all I've got. I set my own standards. I am Gasmark 10. You know that, and people say when you build a business, mate, you should be able to walk away and just be. It's only successful when you can step back, etc. But it's never been like that for me. I am Gasmark 10. I'll be with Gasmark 10 till the end, you know. And I'd rather shut the company than not set that standard, let somebody else take over.
Yeah, mate. No, I remember like stories even before Gasmark 10 was was built as the sub brand it is now. You were using the Gasmark 10 phrase
I
in
wasn't.
regards to relating to yourself on a
Yeah,
level where you're gonna push yourself.
yeah,
So
being
that
able to turn up the heat. Yeah,
exactly, you're already saying it
yeah.
before
When I
the
turn
brand.
pro, mate, when I turn pro,
There
Bob
we
T
go.
said to me, anything you want to say as a Gasmark 10 baby all day, just come out.
That's it.
Where'd it
Let me
come from, man?
let me ask you this, mate. I mean, we just talked about muscle contest being the pro win for yourself.
Yes, mate.
2022. I remember
Yeah,
you beat David Henry.
correct. Yeah,
David Henry's no joke. Yeah, but
yeah, yeah,
everyone
yeah,
knows
yeah.
him as a multi-time Olympian.
Legend, isn't it? Legend.
Yeah, the battles he had with Lex Lewis.
Yeah,
Since then, there's been some shows where we've seen incidents happen where you've not been able to maybe just get back to that point.
yeah.
Did did you feel that maybe you reached your ceiling in 2022, or is there another floor above it?
I'm one of the first that'll say to myself that I'm not good enough, or like I'll critique myself. I'm not scared to do it, mate. Some people put themselves on a pedestal. I don't. I always want better for myself. So I turned pro in 2019 at 220 pounds in the heavyweight division. Now, when you turn pro, you should never go backwards. You should always like put tissue on. I did my pro debut with Jamie Dorego in Alicante,
Yeah,
and I got 7th out of 19 against Rowley and Nathan in that good lineup. Now, for me, that were a much better look. It were a fresh pit bull, delts were there. I had an upper body. I wanted just a pair of legs. That condition just didn't carry me through. It was just like I was a package. But I got sick on that day. Now, because I come into the game late, mate, I said to myself, right, what is the goal? What is the dream? A dream's Olympia, right? How can I get to Olympia as fast as I can, the safest way, where it's not going to impact my children's future? Now, for me, I mean, I'll not talk too much on PDs and things like that on here, but all I'll say to you is this, mate, I've not pushed the envelope. And any coach who worked with me knows I don't push the envelope. And I'm very health aware. So I thought to myself, for me to go open, I need to get big, big, big. Now, in 2012 or 13, I got stabbed in my glute on a night out. I got stabbed. Now, when I seem to push above 250, 216 weight off season, I get like this flare up on my right glute. It was like nerve impingement where I couldn't put my right leg down. So it was just making me unhappy, mate. So every time I push for off season, I'd be like, it's making me unhappy. Now I love bodybuilding. I do it day to day. What can I do? Right, I'll try 212, see if I can make it. Now, when I did my pro debut in 212, and I did my own thing till about 4 weeks out, and then Cal took over. We brought a good package, but it were a small pit bull. It reminded me when I won like under 90s at British, that kind of pit bull.
yeah.
And I got a touch, mate. I got a touch, David Henry's class, but I got a touch. I still won a pro show, but I'll say it, mate, that won't best me. And it gave me a false sense of advice that is the best class for me. When you win something, you're like, that's best for you. And it wasn't, mate. I should have pursued the open. But everything happens for a reason. And I mean, like, then obviously, I think it was 2023 when I had that runner shows. Portugal, it all went wrong. I got that bad thing on my glute. I got some grass-fed knife 5 weeks before, grass-fed knife with
Yeah,
massage. Took
yeah,
top
yeah.
layer skin up when my missus put alcohol tan on it, just flared up, mate. My ass were cracking on stage. Then I got 5th in Tampa, which were a good result. Then I did the True Athlete, and we had to weigh in at 7 night before show. Now we're doing saunas the day before a bodybuilding show to make weight. It was just like, then I realized, mate, 212 for me is just not.
Killing yourself.
I'm literally killing myself. So I thought the pushing up, well, the unhealthy bit, it's not. It's busting your balls and diuretic and, like trying to get yourself down to a weight. That's a dangerous bit, I believe, anyway.
I remember you touched on that Spain show where he came seventh, and
Yeah.
that Jamie still uses that picture, which is like iconic.
Yeah, yeah, mate.
You
Yeah.
know which picture I'm
Loves
on
it,
about,
Jamie.
right?
Yeah, loves it, Jamie. Yeah.
That's it, man. That picture just Like, yeah, that's not going to go anytime soon because it's
No,
just
no.
that was just like you said, that was just you at
Yeah, that
you in
best.
your mind, and you're up against the insane competition, which most because it's Ireland. Yes, you had David Henry, but you
Yeah,
have these names over there in Spain.
yeah,
I guess that look, you talked about look that you want to try do things the safest way, but at the same time, competition is important for yourself. So,
yeah,
it is there another chapter left in the Barnsley Pitbull pro bodybuilding career? Can we expect to see him again one more time, or like I said, you're very honest with yourself. If you feel that you can't get to a certain point,
yeah.
you stop. So
Well,
where we're at?
don't tell the wife. Don't tell the wife. No, she'll back me wherever I do, mate. It's just I change my mind all the time. So for me, mate, like I said, I can't really go into it, but I've got a big legal case going off, and it started 2023 Christmas Eve. Now they took my passport off me. Now, as a pro bodybuilder, where do you go if you ain't got a passport? There's nothing going off for us. So I'm very much living like a bodybuilder. I started doing these like circuit classes and stuff, to
In the
think
morning.
in the
Yeah.
morning, mate. Yeah, just trying to like tip my mind over. But then when the Gasmark Classic happened, I had no intention of guest posing. I promise you on my life, I had no intention. Now, my kids and stuff were there, and my missus and all the old crowd who watched me come up. And they're like, "Go on, you look all right. You look all right. Get it out." And I'm like, I didn't have a tan on. I'm almost brown anyway, mate. But
No, man.
no tan on, and I thought, sod it, I'm getting on. And I tell you what, mate, for that moment in time, every problem I have got going off externally went away. I felt happy. I felt free. My missus and my mum and stuff, when I come off, they went, I've never seen you so happy. You look really like the big like weight will lift off your shoulders. So for me, asking me for a question if I'm going to do bodybuilding again, I think there's life in the old dog yet, mate. There's life in the old dog. If I can get
What?
this case done, 100%, mate. Yeah.
Why did you feel that? Like everything just the weight came off your shoulder when you stepped on stage with, you know, Elliot, Craig, Reese, Lewis,
Yeah.
Abu. It was an incredible post down. But why did you feel then? You know what? Yeah, I could breathe a sigh of relief or feel some weight off your shoulder. What was about it?
First thing was, mate, the amount of guest posts that turned up for me. The message I got from Reese, from Lewis Breed, from Abu, everybody saying, we're coming because it's your show, mate. And I've either inspired them or I've come up with them through the ranks or whatever. So that respect is being earned, mate. Then I think when I seen them, and obviously if you see like Reese in clothes or Lewis, the lumps, like the big lumps,
Yeah.
then I'm thinking I'm a CrossFitter. I'm like built like my bag of dicks, mate. You know what I mean? And then I looked backstage and I thought, I don't look that bad next to him. I've been doing burpees on a weekend. These are training legs. I don't look that bad. So I'm thinking, you know what, mate? When I went up there and all lads were just like crack, it were just like, I felt like it were old bodybuilding days again. They got like your legends, Jace Currick and all these as judges. They all come up afterwards and loads of familiar faces in crowd. Luca jumped up out of crowd, a pro bodybuilder I've competed with before, and he were like, do it juniors when I were doing open back as trying to turn pro. And I thought to myself, I've missed it. I've tried escaping it, but this is where I belong, mate. This is where I belong.
It sounds like giving back is something that's very important to you.
So much so, mate. I don't know where I'd end up, mate, if I want a bodybuilder. I wouldn't know where my path would have took me, right? And it taught me so much, mate. And I feel like I never intended being a motivational speaker or going on my stories every day helping people out, and I get loads of messages. That was never my path, never direction. I think people can just relate because I'm just a normal lad. Like if you meet me in person, I'm normal. Like some pros when you meet them, mate, they've got no personality. They'll not give you time of day. I'm just normal, like nothing's changed. And I think because bodybuilding is me, it's not just my identity, it's all I know, mate. I've done it that long, it's all I know. I think to myself, I'll not say I'll die a bodybuilder, but I love it that much, mate. You don't realize how much you love something till it's took away or till you're not able to do it. I said it loads of times, if I were to leave this sport on my terms, I could probably accept it. But when somebody else is taking it away, you realize how much you miss it. Now, I think it was 2023 where I snapped my tricep completely off my right arm. Completely snapped it at jiu-jitsu. I thought that would end. And then obviously this has kicked up now. And I got on stage, mate, looked at pictures and I thought, do you know what? It's more in my head. And I think that's usually the case for bodybuilders. It's more in your own head.
What were your kids saying afterwards when they saw their dad on
Loved
stage
it.
smiling?
Loved it. My son says to me, you've got to do it again, Dad. You've got to do it again. I said, don't tell your mum.
You you talk about obviously UK bodybuilding and you talk about their personalities. I mean, you come through an era where I mean, look, I could be back at UK BFF back in 2012, so I understand the difference from
Yeah,
back then
yeah,
to now.
yeah,
You touch on the fact that there was a lot of throwbacks
yeah.
from your show back to that era.
It was, mate.
Which where do you think UK bodybuilding is right now as a whole?
It's hard, mate, because obviously you don't want to talk bad or anybody. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've got
Of course, I know.
a lot of friends in the industry. I think there's certain people doing it right, and I think there's certain people doing it wrong. Um, I think it's too political. It's like it's very frowned upon if you do another federation, etc., whatever it is. We're all doing it for one reason, one common denominator. We love bodybuilding, and I think instead of supporting the athletes, people are that scared to do certain shows in case it impacts them. When for me, it's about judging the physique on the day. You know, like UKBFF when we did it, mate, it were like that were the pathway to the pro. And I believe that the one pro here, and then backstage at British, you kind of know who we're going to be, or we're going to be in the mix. It we're going to be James Hollinshead, we're going to be Sass, we're going to be, I don't know, Diasha, you know, like you knew. And I think that's been lost. You don't know who's doing the shows. I'm not saying the standards drop because standards still good, but I think the turnouts are rubbish. You know, for me, when I did my first show at Leeds, I think there were nearly 30 man in my lineup and I were a beginner. Now that's where I want to bring back.
What would that be back then, like 2014? PCA wasn't around yet. I mean, UK
No,
BFF had the stronghold. Right now, I
yeah,
think I can name off the top of my head 20 different federations
yes,
in
mate.
the UK, which obviously what dilutes maybe a number. But
Yeah,
once again, at the same time,
yeah.
it does give people more opportunity to get into bodybuilding.
Of course it does, mate. Yeah, of course it does. And I think if people want us scared to do one federation, then next, without any backlash or feel like it's going to impact their career, I feel like people would compete more. Or I don't know, mate. Just if you'd have been to my show or people who talked about my show, they said they felt it. And from the moment they got in, from the families coming, from the mini expo, from the music, everything, just the camaraderie in the crowd. I think if you were a bodybuilder starting out and you felt that, you'd fall in love with bodybuilding real quick.
That
Whereas you can go to a show, mate, and it'd be a bad experience. You never want to do it again.
there was a comment on a post I did. I don't know if you saw it. I did a post on the Gasmark Classic, and someone
Yeah.
commented saying that they were unsure about coming to the show because it
Okay.
was so about there might be a certain audience. They've never been to a bodybuilding show before,
Yeah.
but he went to the show and he
Yeah.
absolutely loved it. I'll try and find the comment. I'll send it over to
I
you.
love that. Love
But
that.
yeah, I remember seeing that comment, and that really struck me, thinking, wait there, people may have this perception of bodybuilding show, whether I don't know where they may have got it from, maybe
Yeah.
because of the size of the people competing.
Yeah.
He obviously felt something completely different, which
Yeah.
is obviously links back to what you said about people coming in, build that friendly family environment, which is throwback to the old days.
Yeah. 100%, mate. And I think like we got a really good camera guy, mate. He captured the moments.
Oh yeah, wicked.
Like
Yeah.
Rich Fell getting winning the overall, mate. And I mean, his child getting on stage and stuff that my kids did when I won and stuff like that, mate. And stuff that meant the most. And I feel like if anybody had a stigma towards Gasmark 10 Classic or the show or whatever, I think it was because I'm known for condition. I think it was, oh, Rob will be judging. I've got to get peeled. And, you know, I was never going to be judging, mate, and I'm not a judge. But all the feedback I've got positive, mate, and I think it started something great, mate, for the brand. Like I say, I'm not in competition with anybody else. I mean, I go to all PCA shows, I got two bro shows, you know, I'm mates with them all. I remember where I come from, where I started. But if we can get back on a day like that, then you know what, mate, that feedback's priceless.
You say remember the people that you kind of grew up with for
Yeah,
bodybuilding.
yeah.
Who has been that one person you think, you know what, has had that greatest impact in your in your bodybuilding career? I'm talking about someone from the bodybuilding side, less away from the family.
It's a tough one, mate. Because like people say like, who's your role model? Who do you look up to? And people say Cutler, or they'll say Dorian or whatever. I don't know. I don't know, mate. It's a tough one. I've got a few people who I've stayed close to all the way through. I'm close with Nathan Diasher and people like that. I think anybody who puts the kids first, anybody who's a bit of an entrepreneur, who build a life outside bodybuilding now and afterwards, I think like I can get on a similar wavelength to that. That's me, mate.
You mentioned your kids there. Let me
Yeah,
ask you this.
yeah.
What's been the greatest lesson that your kids have taught you?
The greatest lesson my kids have taught me that I don't come first. My kids will always come first. It's not about me. It's about my children. And I also, mate, like I'm sole provider in my house, and I lead the path for my children. And if I have to work myself into the ground 24/7 for them kids, I'd do it in a heartbeat, mate. They're the only people that I do that for.
Did you realize that straight away, or was there a certain point that I really hit home?
I don't think it hits you, mate. Like you don't get that moment, but I think you start to change when you become a father. Like as soon as my son were born, Cruz were born, my firstborn, when he were born, things just changed. It just changed my habits, everything, way I look at things. We're no more going out with lads on a weekend and staying out for 2 days. It was don't cut it anymore. You know what I mean? It was, and I feel like it gave me purpose. Like it gave me so much purpose, mate. It was like the direction was there. Like people say, what's your reason why? I think when you've got kids, that is the reason why you shouldn't look for anything else. They're the reason why I go so hard, why I don't know, I don't react to certain situations. Everything's my kids. They are your reason why.
Another reason why I did a post on this the other day about one of the most important relationships you can have in bodybuilding is your partner, is the
Yeah,
person you're with, because at the same time, what you're going through,
yeah,
they have to go through as well.
100%, mate.
How how important how important of a figure has your partner been throughout this bodybuilding journey to where you're at right now?
So I've been with Abby 15 years. We've been married about 8 years. I hope I got that right, mate. She'll kill me if not. Um, she's not a bodybuilder. She don't compete. She don't even go to the gym. She's just lucky. She can eat cake and stay in shape. But I don't think you need that. I just think you need that support network. She don't make my meals, but my house is always spotless. She looks after my children. She's a brilliant mother. She never complains, never gives me an hard time. If tomorrow I want to go to Dubai for a training camp, and she know we're doing a training camp, she said, "Get yourself off, Rob. If that's what you need to do, I will support you." And I think that's all you need, mate. And from day one, mate, it's been. I'm not an easy guy to live with. Not in respect where I'm like, I don't know, I'm not a bad guy, but I change my mind a lot. I change my mind a lot. I'm very what they call it, mate, where you like I could book an holiday tomorrow. Or like I'm one of them guys. Spontaneous, you call it, or something like that.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
change my mind a lot. So I'll say to her, I'm prepping for a show. Next day, I hate bodybuilding. I don't want to compete. That's me all over. So she has to deal with the emotional side of it. But I think it's so important you've got somebody who just like, they don't have to make your meals. They don't have to be a bodybuilder. Just understand why you're doing it and just be that support network. Whether it's a little pep talk, whether it's I'll stop in, I'll go for a coffee because you can't have a meal off or where it is. You just need that partner. That's all it is. So I think it's so important. When you do a prep, mate, you all do it together. We all prep. I mean, they could be eating a Chinese at table and I could have my Tupperware, but we're all prepping. They know dad's prepping. So I think you just need somebody to support you, mate.
That sounds like somebody who is just there to support that ambition side, that entrepreneurial side, where they know that if you've got your mindset on something, yes, you may change your mind,
Yeah.
but she wants to be that rock for you.
Yeah. And I think, mate, it's like with anything in life, mate, the juice has got to be worth the squeeze. And I mean, like, if you're sacrificing your time with your kids and your missus, your loved ones, you better be worth it. So, like, if you're slacking on your cardio, you're cheating on your diet, you're not putting work in at gym, and you're willing to sacrifice time with your family, then that's a selfish act. But if you're giving everything you can, mate, I mean, my wife knows when I'm on prep, I get everything and more. So I think that's why she can support me because she knows what I'm putting in, and I think that's important, mate.
Look, mate, let's finish off with some pop quiz questions.
Go for it,
We'll do
mate.
quick ones, right? All
Yeah.
right, let's get back into bodybuilding and away from the family side.
Okay.
Olympia 2025 is coming up.
Yeah.
Give me your top five prediction in the open class, first to fifth.
Samson Dowder, 100% number one. Yeah. Just because I think, well, I went to Samson's open day, his
Sure.
gym. He didn't have a stairmaster. I tried to tell him to get a stairmaster. But I believe he knows what to do. He's done it before. He knows what to do. If Samson comes in peeled, it's game over for everybody. I think if Derek brings the Arnold Derek, he's going to get second. But if he brings the Pittsburgh Derek, he's going to get third. And Hadi'll, them two will be. And do you know if Hadi's getting prepped by Hani Rombard or not? Rumors.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of Instagram stories and just be very cryptic. You would
Yeah.
think that those who have such a close relationship is being prepped to the side.
Yeah.
But
And I think that. Right. So we'll go Samson, we'll go Hadi, we'll go Derek. Um, it gets tough then, doesn't it? It gets tough.
I'll throw some names at you for fourth, fifth. We could still got Nick Walker, Maya
Yeah.
Fitzwater, Andrew
Yeah.
Jacked.
I think Nick and then Andrew. I
Yeah.
think Nick and then Andrew. See, Martin, I like Martin. I think he's sick. I think he's unbelievable, mate. But I think he just not last few showings, conditions not been there, mate. And I think he's trying to compete with the size. It's not his game.
Who has been the greatest UK ambassador for bodybuilding? I'll throw some names out there for you as well.
Flex Lewis.
Yeah,
110%, without a shadow of a doubt.
why flex?
Sick family man, sick businessman, great bodybuilder. And not because 212, because I prefer open. But I think as an whole package, what he's created life in bodybuilding and outside bodybuilding, the inspirational message he gives. I don't think nobody talks bad about him. You talk on bodybuilding scene, everybody says he's a great guy. I've met him in person, lovely guy. When I competed at San Marino after that Kent Classic that we said, the Explosive Ape show. And I took second, mate, to a guy called Sahakes, who was an Iranian. And he went and got pro, and I got pro afterwards. And I got my head down about it. And Flex rung me. Didn't know me from Adam. Rung me on Instagram and said, you need to keep going. You need to keep going. You need to do it again, do it again. For him to reach out and do that, priceless, that, mate. Priceless.
I mean, that guy's just living the American dream. Yeah, it was it
100%.
last year he got American citizenship.
Yeah.
He's got his gym in Las Vegas,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like you, beautiful family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, mate, if he didn't have the digestive issues that he had, I believe he could have been a sick open pro, like a really good open pro.
I think another one where he's doing so well outside of bodybuilding, he didn't need to carry on, did he? You know,
No, he didn't.
he's got his liquid monster and everything
Yeah.
else
Yeah.
all in when it comes to gym equipment.
Yeah.
Look, you mentioned you would improve lighting your show, and you think that one thing you would change is the political side of
Yeah.
UK bodybuilding. If you could change one thing to make UK bodybuilding better, take away the political side and take away lighting, what one thing would it be to make UK bodybuilding better?
Right. Here's the thing. No, I hope nobody gets offended, but it is where it is, isn't it? Right. So, as a pro bodybuilder, I believe you've earned your stripes. Now, for me, when I put my show on, I advertised that pro bodybuilders were coming and they were going to do a guest spot. That's going to bring people in. It's going to create hype, going to create adrenaline. People to turn up, maybe because of that reason. Every show I go to, I have to pay. Now, I don't mind paying, but then they want me to get on stage and do a talk, or they want me to do this. They don't realize there's nobody in the crowd because they're not advertised that they've got me there, they've got Samson there, they've got Michael Double, or anybody UK pros. If they thought of it as a whole and they really love bodybuilding, they would say, right, we've got X, Y, and Z turning up, pros. We're going to get them on stage, we're going to do maybe a little talk, or we're going to do a guest pose or whatever, and I guarantee the atmosphere would totally change. And also, mate, I once took a cameraman to a show. I had a client competing, and all my cameraman were doing were promoting the show. They were going around, getting sick visuals. They tried charging him £500 and made him put his camera away. And I'm like, he's just getting it wrong. It's like when people come and train in my gym and they say to me, Rob, can we pay you to film? I'm like, I am mad. Go film for free. You're pumping my gym. It's I don't know mentality of some people, mate. They don't look at bigger picture.
That's one thing I spoke to so many people about, and also other promoters. Like there is the entertainment side of bodybuilding
Yeah,
to attract the mainstream and those people, the other the spectators. If you're gonna you had 6, 7 guest posters, like why are they not on a regular basis at different
yeah,
at more shows?
yeah,
At the same time, is build storylines of people who are competing, or maybe if you got two people, two pros are coming over who might be
yeah,
going head to head in a show in a few weeks. You
yeah.
know,
It creates the hype, doesn't it,
that's
mate?
it. All
And
about hype.
it's not only that, mate. It's like a lot of people who compete as pros, the coaches, loads of them are coaches, top coaches. Now they've all got athletes competing. So I said to all the coaches, free backstage pass, free pass for you. The good bodybuilders, why not have them in the venue? Why not have your coach there to give you support, especially if you're doing a first show? Now, because I gave back to so many coaches, it's like a minor for them to say, Rob, I'll get on stage for you. It's not, it's give and take. And I think it should be like that with every show. Like say if a good coach is turning up and he's a pro, or even if he's not a good amateur and he's got a show coming up, get him going. So get your kit off. Let's have you on stage. And that's bodybuilding. That's hype. It's what people want to see. You see Instagram pictures, but there's no better than seeing it in real life, mate.
Yeah, mate. No, completely agree. Let me ask you this, mate, as well. One person in the UK who you feel has the potential to turn IFBB Pro. I was going to type this person's name down because I think you're going to say this person. I'm going to type his name and show it after you afterwards. But I think you're going to say him.
I'm going to surprise you.
Oh, fuck, it's going to be the person, is it?
It's somebody you don't even know, mate. It's
Go
somebody you
on,
don't
go
know.
on.
Somebody who's coming out of woodwork. Tom Summers, they call him.
Okay,
Tom Summers is doing the Samson show.
okay.
He's getting prepped by Cuba. But he's one of my best mates. And he's coming.
You think you can go all the way?
He can go all the way, mate. And he competed against me in 2014. That's how far we go back.
Fuck.
And then he had like loads of time off. And he come back. And then he come back last year and got second at MK overall to Ben Featherstone, who turned pro.
Yeah.
And then he's had a year working with Cuba, he's put a lot of size on. And I believe he's got the package to turn pro. He's just different this time.
Who do you think I typed on my notes?
Pav,
Nah, man, it's one of your guest posers.
I want him to guest posers. What was it? Oh,
That's,
Elliot.
yeah, there we go. That was only one
I didn't
person.
even know, mate. I didn't even know he would win IFBB this year.
I think I know it's obviously PCA is always focused on, but I think it's more of
Yeah,
like who's got potential to turn IFBB Pro. And
100%. 100%. Yeah, mate. He's how he presents himself on stage and everything. Yeah, he's really good, mate. He's a good lad as well. Really good guy.
we're going to finish off on this one question, which I ask everybody. I'm looking forward to hearing your definition of this term. And I'm asking you, how do you define winning mentality?
A winning mentality is just embedding daily discipline in yourself where no matter how you're feeling, you put your emotion to one side and you get the job done. That is a winning mentality to me. To put emotion to one side, no matter how you feel, whether you're motivated, whether you're upset, whether you're angry, frustrated, you put it to one side and get the job done no matter what. That's my daily discipline. That's where I believe that's what you need.
I'm going to take it one step further. 3 non-negotiables that you live by. Go on, give me 3 non-negotiables that the Barnsley Pitbull lives by on a daily basis.
Stairmaster, no matter what. Pitbull peeled, no matter what. And sounds stupid. 10 liters of water. That's me every day. Stairmaster, Pitbull peeled, 10 liters of water. And
Do that.
I forget lucky with misses.
Hey, we're going to leave it as that. But look, once again, I just want to say what you did with the Gasmark Classic in 18 weeks, you
Yeah.
would think you've been prepping this for a year. You got the
Thank
venue
you.
right. I think what you did, as well as acknowledging all the
Yeah.
brands that were supporting you. So I
Yeah.
saw the banner which had all the logos for the side.
Yeah.
The fact that you had that kind of audience is still better than most of the other shows 100 competitors at an independent show. But I'll
Thank you.
tell you what, one thing that did not go unnoticed, mate, and trophies. Trophies. Remember the old UKBFF ones?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See those Gasmark trophies that you
Yeah.
were awarded. At first, I thought it was just going to be the overall winner. I mean, I
Yeah.
saw a story the day before the show. I thought, oh
Yeah.
shit. No, no, it's all class.
All the winners, the second place, third place, they all got a pit bull. And I got a mad idea, mate, because I bred pit bulls, well, pocket bullies for a long time. And I got this image in my head of this trophy I'd seen online. I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. And I realized it were a dog trophy. It were winning a dog trophy. So anyway, my business partner on the Gasmark 10, Ryan Robinson, I give him a shout out. He's a great guy. And he's just a line from day one. We were speaking to the guy at Mark who makes the trophies. And he said, can you make a CAD design? And I said, it's got to have a gas mask on. Gas mark and a pit bull. That's me all over. He put it together, mate. We come up with a CAD design. And do you know when like it just blows your expectations out the water? I seen it in person. I was like, that is the one. It's the one. I've even got one for myself, mate, in the garage just to look at.
Mate. No, mate. When you drop that picture of that trophy
Yeah.
a while back,
Yeah.
I remember like it sent it to me. I had a few other people sending me as well. I was like, yeah, mate, that's a throwback of when you do a show and you come out. If come out with the top three place, you want to have a trophy to kind of showcase that 12 weeks, 16 weeks of hard work or however long you prepped. And to
100%.
see the thought
Yeah.
and the time, the money to put aside into
Yeah.
creating something that embeds what Gas Mark 10 is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
And also, mate, I think like I don't mind a bit of pressure. In 18 week to create your own trophies and bring what we brought, it were pressure overload. I mean, like I've never done as much cardio because that's when I work. And I was doing 3 hours a day just to get on bike and do calls with Ryan and Pav and just getting everything sorted. And I think if we had 12 months to do it, mate, the next time it's going to be, well, that were iconic. It's going to be legendary, mate, you know.
Do you think we'll stay in Stoke or maybe try somewhere else or go on the road every year?
It's a funny one, mate. I've got no affiliation to Stoke, zero affiliation to Stoke. I'm from Barnsley, but that venue when I went in, I felt it unbelievable, mate. It was just like, and I think like it's got like an old vibe to it, Stoke from Strength Asylum, and you know back in the days where like JP and Sass used to train there, and like Eddie Hall, and you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So like, I think to be honest, mate, that will stay there, and the timing's good as well. It was 2 weeks after the Universe PCA Universe, but I think there could be a couple of more shows.
Central location, being
Yep.
central England always makes it easier on geographically, and it's called Stoke. I mean,
Yep.
they have about 4 or 5 well-known bodybuilding gyms, which means they got a community they could funnel into that
Yeah.
show, and of course, Strength Asylum is
Yeah.
one of
You've
the
got
most well-known gyms around.
destination. You've got old school gyms and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
and to get them all involved in that is great, mate. You know.
nah, squad mate. Look, huge well done to you and the team, Pav, Rob. You guys smashed out of the park, and like I said, it was such a throwback to those regular independent gyms you used
Yeah.
to see. And the only way you'll know about how well those shows did, you have to buy Flex magazine a month later or Muscle Fitness and see the
Yeah.
old pictures. So yeah, it was a great
And
throwback. So well done, mate.
it's lit a flame for me as well, mate. Yeah, it's really lit a flame.
That's a
That's
great place to end,
priceless. That's
mate.
priceless. I thought we were a CrossFit for a minute then, mate.
Well, mate, CrossFit can go substitute for the moment because I think the bars
Yeah.
could be back one more time. Rob,
I'm,
great having you again, mate. Really appreciate your time.
just want to say thanks a lot, mate, for having me on, reaching out, buddy. It's been a pleasure. And anytime you need me for anything, mate, drop me a message. Your channel's amazing, bro. Keep doing the hard work. Keep putting the work in, mate. It's growing at a crazy rate, and you're representing bodybuilding how it should be, mate.
Appreciate it, buddy.